Now on River Region Evening Edition. The budget brawl comes to Southern Illinois. Concerned students hear from politicians on both sides of the fight. A former Illinois congressman pleads guilty and may be heading to prison. And Congressman Paul Ryan takes a big step towards becoming the next U.S. House Speaker.
News from around the world, across the nation, and here in the River Region. This is the award-winning Student Newscast, coming to you live from Southern Illinois University. River Region Evening Edition begins now.
Concern is growing among SIU students about the effects of no state budget. Good evening, I'm Joey Dalo.
And I'm Joe Fry. SIU's president says the university has enough money to get through the end of the year, but that's just 2 months away. Evening Edition reporter Anthony Wilder is live in the newsroom with the latest.
The status of the state budget is clearly on the minds of students and campus leaders here at SIU.
State legislators gave their takes on what should be done about the budget. Over 60 students, including the undergraduate student government and the Graduate and Professional Student Council, attended the event. State Senator Forby understands the angst of students and others on the budget impasse.
Well, I hope they understand what we're going through. We want a budget. We're ready to go back to Springfield tonight, tomorrow, any day to sit down and do a budget, because it's just costing the people, and it's really just, it's on their nerves. They're worried about it. Am I going to get to go to school? Am I not going to get the money? Why isn't the state helping me?
There was an agenda for 5 different topics, although most of the conversation was aimed at education. SIU student Nolan McConnell fears that the commitment to solving these issues isn't all there.
I know that it's going to take more meetings between the legislators to get this done, but I don't know if they're all going to be up to the task of actually going twice a week or once a month or bi-monthly at that, because I know they don't meet that. The last time they talked about was meeting, it was in May, and it is now October, almost November.
Senator Luchtefeld says that Speaker Madigan has to be able to work with both parties if anything can be done.
Basically what Madigan has said, you sign the budget, find the taxes and help us find the taxes to pay for it, and then I'll talk to you about some of these reforms. I doubt if he gets any reforms if he does that.
An agreement may still be months away. Governor Rauner now says he thinks it could be mid-January before both sides agree on a budget. Senator Luchtefeld says he feels a more realistic timetable is sometime in March. I'm Anthony Wilder for River Region Evening Edition.
If you travel on Cedarview Street in Carbondale, you may want to find another route. The street will be closed between Walnut and Linda Streets for water main construction. Authorities will close the street at 8 a.m. tomorrow and reopen tomorrow morning and reopen Friday at 5 p.m. The closure will also affect the intersection of Cedarview, Linda, and Crestview.
The rain continued into this morning, but it was nice to see the sun finally break through.
Yes. Let's check in with weathercaster Colin Dorsey for our first look at weather. Colin?
Briefly looking at what we've got coming up. For tonight, expect an overnight low of around 42 degrees with partly cloudy skies as that rain does move out of the area. By tomorrow morning around 9 o'clock a.m., we're going to see some fairly chilly temperatures around 48 degrees and sunny skies rising to 55 degrees around 12 o'clock noon with beautiful sunny skies. I'll have more on your weather coming up in just a few minutes.
Thank you very much, Colin. Former House Speaker Dennis Hastert pleaded guilty today on federal charges of lying to investigators. Hastert initially pleaded not guilty to the charges, but a plea agreement was reached earlier this month. Sources say the former Speaker of the House was paying a former student to stay quiet about allegations of sexual abuse when he was a coach and teacher in Illinois. Hastert is accused of lying to the FBI about plans to pay the ex-student millions of dollars in hush money. Prosecutors recommended a sentence up to 6 months in prison, but the judge does not have to abide by it. Sentencing is set for February 29th.
After the state failed to pay because of the continuing budget crisis, a company will walk away from its contract. The Illinois Department of Corrections will be returning 5 semi-trucks to the Larson Group a year early because the company is owed over $17,000 by the state. The company didn't immediately respond to a call for comment.
A New Mexico couple is facing drug charges after police discovered the two in southwest Illinois with 23 pounds of heroin and 10 pounds of cocaine in their vehicle. 28-year-old Jorge Miamontes and 27-year-old Erica Miamontes face more than 100 years in prison if convicted with 2 counts of trafficking a controlled substance and 2 counts of possession with intent to deliver. Both of them are being held at Madison County Jail on a $500,000 bail.
President Dunn addresses the SIU system in an email about potential budget cuts throughout the state.
And troubles mount for the school officer caught on video throwing a student. An email from SIU President Randy Dunn this morning told faculty and staff what could be the future of the university due to hefty budget cuts. Last February, Governor Rauner announced his proposed budget that included cutting public universities by 31.5%. However, Rauner does not see the unresolved budget stalemate ending until mid-January at best. Dunn's email also brought up the topic of 12 state universities having duplicate academic programs across Illinois. He said the governor raised the question of whether or not the repeating programs were necessary for the 12 state schools, or should specific universities focus on certain programs like nursing, agriculture, and engineering to get the most out of the budget.
The nationally recognized SIU School of Law is holding Pro Bono Week this week. Students are required to complete 35 hours of pro bono, or unpaid uncredited work, before graduation. Assistant Dean of Career Services Michael Rree says the purpose of Pro Bono Week is to give students the opportunity to talk to potential employers from SIU and the Southern Illinois area.
An opportunity to work with an attorney. You know, part of the pro bono requirement is you have to be supervised by a practicing attorney. So they get to build a relationship, at least over a short period of time, with an attorney and get to see what attorneys do in day-to-day life. And then 3, it helps them with their career.
Examples of employers who have been a part of Pro Bono Week include the Self-Help Center at SIU or the Williamson County State's Attorney's Office. SIU is the first school in Illinois to require law students to complete pro bono hours before graduation.
The push continues to relocate a federal spy agency's new headquarters from St. Louis to southwestern Illinois. The Defense and Intelligence Agency is considering locations in St. Louis County, North St. Louis, and an area near Mid-America Airport at Scott Air Force Base in St. Clair County. The project will cost $1.6 billion, employ 3,100 workers, and replace the current little-known location of the agency.
South Carolina officer Ben Fields was fired this morning after forcefully removing a student Monday. Video of Deputy Fields' violent arrest went viral after a classmate captured him slamming a student onto the floor and tossing her across the room. The video caused national outrage. Richland County Sheriff Leon Lott said that when he first saw the video, he was disgusted. Lott vowed to act quickly on the situation and did so this morning.
Continues to upset me when I see that video is the fact that he picked a student up and he threw the student across the room. That is not a proper technique and should not be used in law enforcement. And based on that, that is a violation of our policy. And approximately 20 minutes ago, School Resource Officer Ben Fields was terminated from the Richland County Sheriff's Department.
Reported in 2007 for using excessive violence when a couple filed a noise complaint. The South Carolina student was arrested on a charge of disturbing school.
To combat the flu this holiday season, the aviation department in Chicago is offering flu shots to travelers passing through O'Hare International Airport. The shots will be available in each of the airport's domestic terminals and will be administered by the staff from the University of Illinois at Chicago's clinic in the airport. Most insurance and Medicare is accepted.
Wisconsin Congressman Paul Ryan has been formally nominated to be the next Speaker of the House today. If approved by the U.S. Congress, Ryan would be the youngest Speaker since before the Civil War. Ryan easily defeated fellow GOP candidate Daniel Webster in today's election by a secret vote tally of 200 votes for Ryan and 43 for Webster. The nomination will come to a vote in the full House of Representatives Thursday and is expected to approve Ryan.
A U.S. military blimp is on the loose over Pennsylvania. The aircraft used in surveillance of the East Coast became untethered from its mooring in Maryland, according to a NORAD spokesman. Two F-16 jets from the New Jersey National Guard are tracking the missile defense detection device. It's unclear what the danger is to the public or how the blimp will be brought back down, but there are reports a cable from the blimp is dragging on the ground and causing power outages. The makers of the blimp, Raytheon, say there are systems in place to bring the aerostat down in a safe manner.
American astronaut Scott Kelly is taking his first spacewalk this afternoon, only hours before setting a new U.S. flight record. Day 216 of Kelly's mission will be one for the books, as he breaks a record previously set in 2007 for NASA's longest single space shot. Kelly began his year-long stay on the International Space Station nearly 7 months ago and will continue to live on the orbiting lab until he completes his mission in March of 2016.
The fires raging across Indonesia are making people extremely sick and are an environmental crisis. The fires in Indonesia have been burning for more than 2 months, creating a thick layer of haze in the air. Indonesian authorities say more than 500,000 people are now suffering from respiratory infections because of the heavy smoke. Disaster management teams are setting up evacuation shelters equipped with oxygen tubes for those having trouble breathing. In a press briefing today, the Indonesia social minister confirmed that at least 19 people have died this year due to the illness caused by the cloud in Indonesia.
Well, we're halfway to the weekend. We'll have the Halloween forecast when we come back.
After a shaky start to the day, stocks recover this afternoon to close higher. Full details on a nightly business report at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Colin Dorsey with your River Region weather forecast. Looking to the days ahead, we'll have a rainy Halloween coming up this Saturday. I'll have a little bit more of that coming up in just a couple minutes. We got some cool nights ahead, dropping into those upper 30s, lower 40s, but we do have a warming trend coming in the mid part of next week. Currently looking outside in Jackson County, cloudy and damp conditions if you've been outside, 65 degrees right now. Dew point sitting quite a bit lower at 50 degrees, humidity around 59%. That's where that dampness is coming in. Wind gusting out of the west of 12 miles per hour. Looking at your almanac for today, our average high around today is about 65 degrees. We're sticking around there. Record high coming in 1927 at a very warm 92 degrees, low 36, record low at 20 degrees in 1976. Here are your temperatures from across the river region. Carbondale 65 degrees, Marion at 66, Paducah and McCracken County, the warmest spot at 68 degrees, Mount Vernon and Jefferson County up here 61, Belleville at 60 degrees, Cape Girardeau at 67. Here's your surface map showing kind of what's going on across the nation. This low pressure system here with that rain is what had just moved through, bringing in all that rain today. And what we have up here around St. Louis, Springfield area will move down, and that's what we'll see in the days ahead. Temperatures looking into tomorrow around 2 o'clock p.m. We see this band here, and that is us in the low to mid 60s. As the farther north we get, the more wintry temperatures we see up around the Chicago, Wisconsin area. Coverage map, cloud cover for tomorrow around this time. Beautiful clear skies. Those clear skies are allowing that the temperatures, the heat that we do have at that to escape out of the atmosphere and drop our temperatures around into those lower 30s. Here's your Halloween outlook for those of you planning to go trick-or-treating on Saturday evening. There is a 90% chance of rain moving into the area on Saturday, but that will drop throughout the evening to no chance throughout the evening. Looking into tonight, partly cloudy skies with a high of 42 or a low of 42 degrees, winds out of the north of 10 miles per hour. By tomorrow, expect sunny skies with a high of 59 degrees, and then into tomorrow night, we are seeing some beautiful clear skies with a very chilly 36 degrees as our low, winds gusting out very light and negligible amounts. And then looking into your 5-day weather outlook, by Friday, expect a high of 63 degrees with an overnight low of 45 and 80% chance of rain.
All right, Colin, thank you very much.
Thank you, Colin. A former Saluki football coach hung up his headset.
And fans who watched World Series Game 1 sure got one heck of a game. Zach Thomas has more with sports.
Thanks, guys. The 2015 NBA season is now underway, and it's that time of year again as high school football playoffs have graced Southern Illinois. All that and more in 90 seconds on River Region Sports. Former SIU head football coach Jerry Kill has abruptly retired from the University of Minnesota due to health concerns. Kill coached SIU from 2001 till 2007 before moving on to Northern Illinois. Kill revived the football program and is still the only coach to lead the Salukis to 4 straight winning seasons. Kill has battled with epilepsy and joined the Golden Gophers in 2010.
This is the toughest thing that I've ever done in my life. The toughest thing since I lost my dad.
Cal, but here in Carbondale, says play-by-play radio personality Mike Rree.
Certainly didn't expect the decision, didn't know it was in the offing. Once I heard some of the details about why he made the decision that he made, it became a lot clearer. For a person who is as dedicated to football and to players as anybody I've ever seen, to be in a position where he feels like he has to walk away is an extremely difficult decision, and I know he didn't come upon it lightly.
Kill finishes his head coaching career with 43 wins here at SIU and 52 total wins between his time at Northern Illinois and Minnesota. Playoff football has made its way into Southern Illinois. Kicking off the IHSA 4A playoff bracket Saturday afternoon is the number 12 ranked Carterville Lions taking on the number 5 Red Devils in Murfreesboro. 20 miles down the road, the number 6 ranked Heron Tigers host the 11th ranked Richland County Tigers. Later in the afternoon, the number 9 Raiders of Quincy Notre Dame travel to face the number 8 Harris Bulldogs. Capping off week 1 of the playoffs takes us north to Belleville Saturday night as the top-seeded Althoff Catholic Crusaders host the 16th ranked Clinton Maroons. The winners of each matchup will advance to the second round of playoff action next week. On tomorrow's Saluki Sports View, one of the top hammer throwers in the nation, Deanna Price, talks about her busy summer and her plans for this season. We'll look at her and chat with new track and field head coach Kathleen Rasky. Join us for Saluki Sports View tomorrow night at 5. If you turned off the game because of blacked out signal, you missed an instant classic. A 14-inning marathon ending in a 5-4 Kansas City win. The Royals got the scoring started on the first pitch of the ballgame. Alcides Escobar took the first offering to the gap and ran all the way home. It was the first World Series inside the park home run since 1929. Alex Gordon tied it in the 9th, and Eric Hosmer won it in the 14th for Kansas City. KC sends out Johnny Cueto to face Mets ace number 2 Jacob deGrom. First pitch from Kauffman Stadium is at 7. Thursday night football returns tomorrow night as the undefeated New England Patriots take on the surging Miami Dolphins. Since firing their former head coach, the Dolphins are 2-0, while the Patriots are showing that they might be the best team in the NFL. Kickoff is set for 7:30. Later this weekend, the St. Louis Rams take on the struggling San Francisco 49ers, while the Chicago Bears return from their bye week to meet with their divisional rival Minnesota Vikings on Sunday. It's an exciting time for basketball as the 2015 NBA season has now tipped off. The games began yesterday as the Chicago Bulls edged out a victory at home against the Cleveland Cavaliers. 25 points and 10 rebounds was not enough for superstar LeBron James as the Cavs couldn't rally back against Derrick Rose and the Bulls. Later on in the evening, the reigning champion Golden State Warriors were also in action after receiving their championship rings. Last year's MVP Stephen Curry, he dropped 40 points in a win against the New Orleans Pelicans. Action from around the association starts up again tonight at 6 p.m. The St. Louis Blues held off Tampa Bay last night, edging the Lightning 2-0 at home. Blues goalie Jake Allen made 26 saves last night for his 6th career shutout. Scott Gomez got the first goal for the Blues in the first period, and Troy Brower found the net in the third to put the Notes up 2. The win breaks the Blues' 2-game skid, and they'll face off against the Minnesota Wild at home Saturday on Halloween. Puck drop from the Scott Trade Center is at 7.
So Zach, do you think Allen and net, do you think he's going to be solidified for the Blues this year?
I think so. I think the Blues are a team that struggles in the playoffs, but hopefully him as goalie can lead them to a deeper playoff run.
Game 2 of the World Series tonight. Going to be a fun one.
Oh yeah, couldn't agree more.
Thank you, Zach.
Thank you. After the break, we're looking up what's coming here in the River region.
And we'll help you plan Halloween and your weekend with a 5-day forecast.
Here are some of the stories making news in the days ahead. We'll have local reaction to the third Republican debate. It begins in an hour and a half on CNBC. Daylight saving time arrives with an extra hour of sleep this Sunday. And tomorrow at 5, we devote a half hour to our sports magazine program, Saluki Sports View. Join us Monday through Thursday at 5 for River Region Evening Edition.
So, Colin, do all the kids in the area need to incorporate an umbrella with their Halloween costume?
Really depends on how early your community's doing trick-or-treat. Looking into Saturday, we have a 90% chance of rain throughout the day until about 5 o'clock, and then that does start to disappear. So the later that gets, it's not going to be too bad at all.
Well, hopefully we have a good weekend. Thank you, Colin.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us tonight. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter at River Region News. I'm Joey Dalo.
And I'm Joe Fry. For Colin Dorsey, Zach Thomas, and more than 100 students who work on Evening Edition, good night.